In a cozy apartment, where the lights of a nearby tree flickered softly, Liam sat at the table, a half-eaten sandwich in front of him. His dog, Max, was lying lazily by his feet, watching with curious eyes as the crumbs scattered. There was something comforting about the moment, but beneath the surface, Liam felt a shift in the air. It had started a few months ago when his small side hustle, selling custom mugs online, had crashed and burned. It wasn't just the loss of money. It was the blow to his ego. He had promised his partner Sarah that he could make it work. But the reality was different. The venture was a disaster, and their bank account reflected it. Ever since then, Sarah had changed. It wasn't anger or resentment, but something colder. A distance that made every conversation feel like an interrogation. Every question Liam asked felt like it was met with a sharp, calculated answer. It wasn't the rage of failure that concerned him. It was the emotional gap that was widening between them. She had been reading a book, a business-focused manifesto of sorts, which she had recommended to Liam in an attempt to wake him up. He had ignored it for weeks, but as the silence stretched on and his frustration grew, something inside him clicked. Maybe it was time to open the pages and figure out what all the fuss was about. Liam devoured the book over a weekend. He wasn't sure what he expected, but it wasn't what he found. The pages challenged him, questioned his assumptions, his habits, the life he had settled into without truly considering whether it was his choice. There was anger, hope, confusion, a spark of realization, like discovering a piece of his life had been a lie all along, but it was all wrapped in a deeper truth. He wasn't free. Dinner that evening felt heavier than usual. Sarah sat across from him, scrolling through her phone as she absent-mindedly poked at her plate. Liam stared at the food in front of him, lost in thought. The soup was warm, comforting even, but it did little to ease the storm inside his head. He cleared his throat and broke the silence. "I finished the book," he said, almost as if he were testing the waters. Sarah didn't look up. She just nodded, her eyes glued to the screen. Liam shifted uncomfortably. "The book you kept telling me about," he added, hoping she would meet his gaze. She didn't. After a long pause, Sarah finally set her phone down, but her expression remained unreadable. "And?" she asked flatly. Liam took a deep breath. "I get it now. I see why you were upset about the business idea." His voice was quieter, but the weight of his words felt heavier than the conversation itself. "I get why you were so frustrated with me." Sarah's brow furrowed slightly. She wasn't upset. She wasn't defensive either. It was more like she was waiting for him to finish. Liam hesitated, but pushed forward. The whole thing was flawed from the start. Not just the idea itself, but the mindset behind it. The way I thought things had to work. I didn't question enough. I just accepted what everyone else was telling me to do. I didn't think outside the box. Sarah leaned back in her chair, arms crossed, listening intently now. A slight, knowing smile played on her lips. "You know," Liam continued, "this whole idea of working hard, grinding, doing what everyone else does to succeed, it's all just a script, a narrative that everyone follows without ever thinking whether it's even their own story." Sarah's smile faded, and she nodded. "Keep going," she said softly, intrigued. Liam stared at the empty bowl in front of him, tapping his spoon against the side. "I mean, look at how we live. We're told to work for the weekend. We're told that the goal is retirement, that we need to work 40 hours a week and struggle through our lives in hopes of some distant reward. But what if that's all just a trap?" Sarah sat forward, her attention fully on him now. "A trap?" "Yeah," Liam said, his voice gaining strength. The system is built on this idea that we work for everything we want, but they never tell you how much time you're really spending. What if we're wasting the one thing that can't be replaced? Time. Liam's fingers began tapping the table. Think about it. We spend hours of our lives on things that don't matter. Watching endless shows, scrolling through meaningless posts, just waiting for the weekend to recharge so we can start the cycle again. And when the weekend comes, we're still unsatisfied, still looking for something more. And for what? Sarah was quiet for a moment, clearly processing his words. She leaned forward, intrigued. "You're right," she said slowly, nodding in agreement. "We've been living our lives by a set of rules that never questioned the real cost of all of it." Liam leaned back in his chair, exhaling deeply. Exactly. It's all math. Time is the real currency, not money. We've been trading it for years without realizing that we could have been living differently. What if we stopped following this pre-scripted life? What if we started making choices based on what we actually wanted, not what society told us we should want? Sarah reached for her coffee cup and took a slow sip. "So, what's the next step then?" Liam smiled, a weight lifting off his shoulders. "The next step is to stop living on autopilot. It's time to question everything. The way we spend our time. The way we chase success. The way we let everyone else write our story for us. It's time to rewrite our own script." Sarah's eyes sparkled. "I like that. I think we're finally on the same page." Liam smiled back. It wasn't a perfect resolution, but it was a start to something far more real than anything they had been following before.